cloudbursts have already happened across the country, not just concentrated in North India, but we are seeing it in Northeast as well. And Mumbai suburbs might also see cloudburst-like condition in coming days. But why all of a sudden so many cloudbursts? What is increasing the frequency? What exactly it is? And what makes it disastrous? Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh. And in today's session, we are going to understand all of the questions we just talked about. In this session, we not only understand that what exactly cloudburst it is, we understand that how it is very closely related to flash flood, how it is creating havoc across the country, and what needs to be done to manage it. So let us begin with understanding that what exactly has been happening. A few days back, we saw a flash flood triggered by cloudburst in Himachal Pradesh. We saw cloudburst in Arunachal Pradesh, a second cloudburst yet again in Arunachal Pradesh, and what we are seeing now that cloudburst-like conditions are expected in the suburbs of Mumbai. Now, all of these newses have one thing common, that is cloudburst. So, to understand this disaster better, we need to start with understanding that what exactly is a cloudburst. So, when we are talking about a cloudburst, you have to understand that this is not literally meaning that the cloud has gone off or it has exploded. It basically means that in a very limited, short span of time, there is huge amount of rainfall. Now, when I am saying short span of time, it basically refers to 1 hour. And how much rain we are talking? We are talking about over 100 mm of rain. So, if this amount of rain is happening in 1 hour over a very small area, usually 20 to 30 square kilometer, this makes it a localized rainfall event, but because of the quantity and in the given time, it is an intense one. So, this situation when it occurs, it is labeled as cloudburst. So, let us just say in a given area what we see that there is concentration of water that increases leading to heavy rainfall, and that rainfall is over 100 mm and in less than 1 hour, then that will be labeled technically as cloudburst. Now, when we are talking about cloudburst, we also need to understand that how we identify it. We identify not just based on time, but also that how localized it is, because cloudburst events are highly localized. They are associated with cumulonimbus clouds. That means high mounting dark clouds which will be present. They are usually seen in mountainous regions. Why? Because this kind of rainfall is facilitated by orographic front. So, when we are looking at a mountain, this is a orographic barrier, and when moisture laden winds come in, they gradually move upwards because of this barrier itself, and this is the exact orographic lifting we are talking about, which leads to formation of darker, denser clouds. And because of sudden concentration, their prediction is also extremely difficult. Now, in a situation of cloudburst, this is not just the disaster that we need to be worried about, because it is like the starting of the domino. It leads to other disasters such as flash floods as well. So, before moving to understand more, let us look into flash floods. What is a flash flood? Flash flood is a rapid flooding event, going by the literal meaning of the word itself. It will occur within 5 to 6 hours and sometimes even in few minutes, and this happens usually when all of a sudden there is huge amount of water. And how this water will come in? It could be due to cloudburst, it could be due to extremely heavy prolonged rainfall, dam failure, or sometimes we also get to see glacial lake outburst flood, which we have seen in Uttarakhand last year itself. So, when we are looking at a flash flood, you have to understand it is a situation where we are looking at heavy rainfall, but the water levels are rising rapidly and they have such force that they can move heavy objects such as motor vehicles, cars, and damage buildings. So, this is where flash floods also carry the power of immense destruction. Now that we have understood two main phenomena here, cloudbursts and flash floods, now let us try to understand that why they are dangerous. They become dangerous because when we are looking at them, let's just say a cloudburst has happened, it will lead to intense rainfall. This intense rainfall will lead to rapid surface runoff. The surface runoff will gain momentum, the water levels will rise, they have more power, which will lead to flash flood. Now this flash flood, which will be responsible for landslide, movement of debris, infrastructure damage, this is exactly how it gets disastrous. The more water quantity, the more power it has, more damage we will see. And that is why if you look at recent times, the number of not just flash floods, cloudburst events, but also landslides, debris movement, they have also increased, especially when we are talking about hilly areas. Now in this context, we also have to see where are the cloudburst events concentrated. So when we are looking at the most vulnerable regions in our country, we get to see it is definitely the western Himalayas, the eastern Himalayas, northeast India, and then we have western Ghats. Now if you go back to the first page where we were looking at the clippings, we had Himachal, we had northeast, and we had Mumbai. So we can understand that the most vulnerable regions are where we are seeing the occurrence of flash floods and cloudbursts. But it can also be in the urban areas which have poor drainage. Flash floods can easily occur there. Example, Chennai floods. Example, Bangalore floods. All these show that it is not that certain specific natural geography set region which will see such natural disasters if the human planning is not accommodating the future expansion. It can occur in urban places as well. Now one question that should be in your mind, and we talked about it initially as well, that why such events are increasing. Do you think these events are increasing? Let me know in the comment section, yes or no, and if you have any idea why. Now when we are talking about the increased frequency, I would also like to agree here that yes, the numbers have increased, but the bigger question here is why. Now when we are looking at the events of extreme rainfall, even though the seasonal changes, seasonal variation is limited in rainfall as of now, but these events are increasing in number. And what exactly is facilitating this increase? So the first and the obvious answer that we all I think know is the climate change. As of now, with increasing temperatures, the atmosphere, the air is comparatively warmer, and warmer air holds more moisture. To be exact, 7% more moisture per 1 degree Celsius. So as comparatively to previous years, we have warmer temperatures, warmer air, and that is why more moisture, thus more intense rainfall events. But we also have to look at direct factors such as urbanization, because concrete surfaces, they reduce the infiltration. So if the water will not infiltrate, then the surface runoff will be more, the momentum gain would be more, the kinetic energy gain would be more. Other than that, encroachment of lakes and wetlands, which can serve as aquifers, as absorbers, and then storm water drainage is something that we are lacking across the biggest urban centers as well. All of this leads to what? Accumulation of water creating more surface runoff and leading to disastrous effects with that we see in form of flash floods. Apart from that, reasons such as deforestation, the monsoon variability, which you can directly connect with climate change again, they have also intensified the frequency. And we have multiple examples, be it the 2023 Kedarnath flash flood we saw, the disaster that occurred, then Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand have regularly been seeing such events, and it's unfortunate these are the people who contribute least to the pollution, but the aftermath, the after effect is showing up highest on them. Summers, forest fire, monsoon, we are seeing flash floods, landslides, debris movement, damage of infrastructure, and so much more as well. Now the question is, this is happening, but something can be done to address this. Is this a natural disaster and humans are absolutely incapable to manage it? No. That is where disaster management comes into the picture. This is where we can minimize the damage if we look at the whole disaster management cycle. It includes preparedness, response, recovery and mitigation. And every rupee spent in preparedness saves you crores of rupees in response and recovery. So when we are talking about preparedness, we need to be better focused towards forecasting. We need to invest in technology and ensure that there are automatic weather stations, there is better satellite monitoring, impact-based forecasting, and the planning also needs to be intensified. Floodplain zoning, hazard mapping, restrict construction, and landslide susceptibility needs to be mapped as well. Now this is where what we can do before the disaster, so as to understand and forecast it better, so as to ensure the preparedness better. But when we are looking at the whole cycle, we also need to ensure that in the long term, we have better climate resilient infrastructure, where stormwater drainage is ensured, proper check dams are placed, retaining walls, river restoration and sponge city planning, so that the water can be absorbed. The disaster that starts as a cloudburst does not convert into flash flood, and if it does, then the after effects do not emerge amplified. Furthermore, when we are talking about the situation where disaster has occurred, this is where the governance framework, IMD, when we are talking about NDMA, all of these stakeholders need to come together in form of alerts, ensuring evacuation, community warning system and deployment of NDRF and SDRF as well. After disaster, it might be unfortunate, but it should bring learning. It should not be taken something that has just happened and cannot be understood. The assessment of the damage, relief and rehabilitation, how people will be brought back, and the building in the future, how that would be better. Because this is something that India has not just seen this year, this is recurring, and this is costing not just infrastructure, not just malls, roads, but also people's life. So this is where it is important that the stakeholders, the whole governance framework, be it NDMA, be it IMD, be it ISRO's wing, if you know about this program, Bhuvan, then all of this needs to reassess, replan to ensure that we minimize the casualties, the damage which is occurring because of the amplification that has happened with climate change. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. I would also like to very quickly discuss, because when we are talking about what can be done, yes, we have understood, but we also need to understand the expanse of impact that happens. So when we are talking about the expanse of impact, it is not just in terms of lives or infrastructure damage. It is in form of the environmental cost. Soil erosion happens, river sedimentation happens, habitat destruction happens. It is in form of social impact as well, not just loss of lives. How it increases the burden of displacement, how it leads to water contamination, disease outbreaks, education disruption. Then it also has governance impact. Then it also has economic impact. All of these are what is being created by a disaster. Yes, it is a natural disaster as I've just mentioned, but at the same time, we need to focus our energy towards minimizing the impact. Now in the comment section, let me know what do you think can be the way forward. I've briefly mentioned the way forward, that what can be done in future, how the damage can be minimized. That can be taken also as a cue. Let me know what can be the way forward. Now I'll be leaving you here with a prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your answers. That is all from my side. Thank you so much.